My wife and I had been living in different cities for an entire year. I was wandering through an upscale mall on a mundane Tuesday afternoon when I quite literally bumped into a guy from her corporate office. He beamed, clapping me on the shoulder, and offered his warmest congratulations. "Man, another girl. A daughter. You must be over the moon," he laughed. His words hit me like a physical blow. The mall's ambient noise faded into a high-pitched ringing, and my feet felt glued to the polished tile. He didn't notice the blood draining from my face. He just kept talking, oblivious, mentioning how he wouldn't miss the baby's sip-and-see party this weekend for the world. As he spoke, he casually waved a thick, cream-colored invitation with gold foil edging. "Beautiful design, by the way," he added. I forced my facial muscles into something resembling a smile. With trembling fingers, I reached out and took the heavy cardstock from him. There, under Mother, was my wife's name, Elisa. My stomach plummeted into an endless dark void. And under Father, printed in elegant cursive, was a name I had never seen before. Kieran. I memorized the address of the country club printed at the bottom, handed the invitation back, and choked out a hollow, "See you this weekend." When Saturday arrived, I pulled up to the sprawling estate of the country club. The banquet hall was alive with the hum of a lavish party. Standing near the entrance, greeting guests, was a tall, handsome man cradling a newborn baby girl. He caught my eye and offered a warm, easy smile. Assuming I was one of his partner's colleagues, he chuckled. "Elisa's firm really hires them sharp, huh? Grab a drink. Make yourself at home." A violent storm was raging in my chest, threatening to tear me apart from the inside. I forced myself to look at the infant nestled against his chest. She was pale and delicate. Around the eyes, there was an unmistakable echo of Elisa. "Where is Elisa?" I asked, my voice flat, devoid of the hurricane inside me. She wasn't in the room, but out of the corner of my eye, I spotted several older faces I recognized, relatives from Elisa's side of the family. I had only met her extended family once, at our wedding 7 years ago, but I have a mind like a steel trap. I remembered those distinct, weathered faces. I couldn't fathom the sheer audacity of it. She was openly parading her illegitimate child in front of her extended family. "Elisa just ran to pick up my in-laws," Kieran said easily. "She'll be back any minute." Another jagged piece of my reality shattered. The pain was immediate, sharp, and suffocating. Just 2 days ago, my mother-in-law and father-in-law had told me they booked a 2-week senior cruise to Alaska. I had been worried their retirement fund wouldn't stretch far enough to let them actually enjoy the excursions, so I had transferred them an extra $1,000, telling them it was their vacation fund. For years, their health had been failing. Constant doctor visits, endless prescriptions, and they rarely traveled. When they said they wanted a change of scenery, I supported them completely. For the last 7 years, I had treated them like my own flesh and blood. To my face, and supposedly behind my back, they constantly praised me. "Such a devoted son-in-law," they'd say. "A rare find." Now I realized they were treating me like the same gullible fool Elisa took me for. Kieran, entirely blind to the devastation in my eyes, led me over to a cluster of Elisa's co-workers. The moment we approached, a middle-aged woman sighed wistfully. "I'm so jealous of Elisa. Not only is her husband gorgeous, but this baby is an absolute angel." The group chimed in, a chorus of validation. "Kieran, you really made the right bet. When you quit your job to be a stay-at-home dad, I was a little worried for you. It's been, 6 years? And you and Elisa are just as obsessed with each other as day one. Now you have this beautiful little proof of it. So happy for you." My hands curled into fists at my sides, my fingernails digging crescents into my palms. I had been married to Elisa for 7 years. She had been having an affair with Kieran for over 6. The most pathetic part, through those long, winding 7 years, I had suspected absolutely nothing. Even this morning, she had sent me her usual text, a string of heart emojis, and a voice note saying, "Morning, honey, miss you so much." For 7 years, I believed we had the perfect modern marriage. She never lost her temper with me. She told me her take-home pay was around $3,000 a month, and she kept only a small allowance for her coffees and lunches, transferring the rest to our joint account. Every year, she insisted on putting her annual bonus into treasury bonds and mutual funds for our family's future. I had built up quite a nest egg for us, or so I thought. A year ago, she sat me down and pitched a relocation at a corporate assignment in Chicago. She said that would bump her salary significantly. "It's for our son's future," she had argued softly, holding my hands. "College, his first house, his wedding, IT all costs money. Let me do this for us." After agonizing over the distance, I agreed. Looking back now, I realized Elisa was like the night sky, vast, dark, and impossible to truly see through. "Elisa is a powerhouse," another coworker was gushing. "Top sales rep every year. Her base salary alone is crazy, and she's pulling in commissions hand over fist. Makes a killing and still treats her husband like a king. Women like that are 1 in a million." Another gut punch. The salary she had been transferring to our joint account, that was just her base pay. All her massive commission checks had been funding this alternate life. Kieran beamed, practically glowing with domestic bliss. "We're just really lucky." "Time flies," an older colleague mused. 6 years since we were all at your wedding, and now look at you guys." They even had a wedding. A big, lavish, public wedding. When Elisa and I got married, we had a quiet, modest ceremony in her small hometown. She didn't invite a single person from her firm. I stood frozen in the crowd, a ghost at a feast, absorbing the secret history of my own wife. A younger guy in a sharp suit leaned toward Kieran. "Man, you've got her trained well. Teach me your ways. How do you keep a woman that successful so devoted?" I felt a dark curiosity bloom inside me. I glanced at Kieran, my face an emotionless mask. He looked perfectly unburdened, untouched by the gritty, exhausting realities of real life. "It's just who Elisa is. I'm blessed," Kieran said smoothly. "But it's about mutual trust. If you're really worried about a woman straying, you manage the finances. Elisa gives me her entire paycheck. She keeps maybe $100 a week for incidentals. Her big bonuses, they all go straight into our investment portfolios and real estate. You know what they say, where a woman puts her money, her heart follows." My shattered heart was ground into dust. Her bonuses went to Kieran's investments? Then what the hell were the bonds she had been buying for me? A wave of pure, unadulterated rage clawed at my throat. They kept laughing and chatting, completely oblivious to the fact that I was standing among them like a block of ice, silent, jagged, and ready to sink the ship. Kieran's phone buzzed. He smiled down at the screen. "It's Elisa." Without a second thought, he turned to me and gently passed the baby into my arms. "Do you mind? Just for a second." I stiffened. The baby, as light and soft as a bundle of cotton, settled quietly against my chest. She blinked up at me with bright, clear eyes, completely serene. I stared down at her, a chaotic storm of emotions warring inside me, even though I was standing on the absolute edge of a mental breakdown, looking at this fragile, innocent little thing. I forced the darkness down. I took a breath. Kieran stood right next to me, the phone pressed to his ear. Elisa's voice drifted clearly through the speaker. "Hey babe, you've been running around all morning. Please tell me you're resting. I just picked up mom and dad. Traffic is a nightmare, so don't stress if we're a few minutes late." Kieran's voice was dripping with affection. "I fine, Oni. Take your time, drive safe. I love you." He hung up, and the co-workers practically swooned. "You guys are sickeningly cute. She texts you every hour at the office." All these years, and the honeymoon phase never ended. "She watches over you like a hawk." Kieran, you found the unicorn. Every woman on earth could cheat, and Elisa still wouldn't. I had thought Elisa was so attentive. She called me every single day. She texted me every morning. Sure, the calls were brief, usually less than a minute, but I never doubted her. I was balancing a demanding job, raising our son, managing the household. My time was packed. She was a busy executive. Short calls made sense. I never realized she was saving the intricate, intimate details of her day to share with another man. Holding the baby, I found a quiet chair near the edge of the room and sat down. As I adjusted the infant's blanket, a flash of gold caught my eye. Clasped around the baby's tiny wrist was a custom-made gold charm bracelet. The charm was a delicate, intricately carved dove. My breath caught in my throat. I recognized it instantly. 7 years ago, right after we found out Elisa was pregnant with twins, a boy and a girl. My mother went to a legacy jeweler in the city. She had them custom cast a matching set of gold medallions, a sparrow for the boy, a dove for the girl. My mother then took them on a Catholic pilgrimage to Italy, having them blessed by a cardinal at the Vatican for protection. But life is cruel. There were complications during the delivery. We only saved our son. I had been entirely destroyed by the loss, hollowed out by a grief I couldn't fix. The sparrow medallion went around my son's wrist, where he wore it every day as he grew. The dove medallion went into the velvet-lined safe in my bedroom. Whenever the grief of the daughter I never got to meet threatened to drown me, I would sit on the floor of my closet, clutching that gold dove, and weep until I couldn't breathe. My hands shook. I ran my thumb over the raised wings of the dove, then gently flipped it over. Engraved clearly on the back was one word: joy. It was the name I had chosen. I had spent months poring over baby books, trying to find the perfect name for the daughter who never made it. Joy, because I wanted her life to be full of it. Her name is Joy, Kieran said, walking over with a smile and taking the seat next to me. Elisa chose it. She even gave her own maiden name that I didn't mind. He pointed to the bracelet. Elisa had that custom made, too. You have no idea how much she's always wanted a daughter. The cracks in my heart splintered into a million microscopic shards. I kept my voice dead level. She really takes care of you. Kieran laughed, settling into an easy, conversational rhythm. You must be new at the firm, right? I know most of the veterans. People come and go, I murmured, staring straight ahead. Elisa said there's been a lot of turnover. I offered a non-committal hum. The benefits at her company are great, but man, the travel used to be brutal, Kieran sighed. Thankfully, she hasn't had to travel at all this past year. But before that, she was on the road 2 weeks out of every month. IT was tough, but we survived. A bitter, cynical smile touched the corners of my mouth. Yeah, survived. Before Elisa took her relocation assignment this past year, she used to travel for work for about 15 days every single month. I had felt so terrible for her, living out of suitcases, exhausted by airports, because I wanted her to rest when she was home. I took on everything. I did all the cooking, all the cleaning, the school runs. When her parents got sick, I was the one sleeping in the vinyl chairs at the hospital that I managed their home care. I never asked her to lift a finger. Even as our physical intimacy dwindled to almost nothing over the years, I never complained. I thought she was just burning out. She wasn't on business trips. She was playing house in another zip code. Kieran made no move to take the baby back. He was busy waving at arriving guests from his seat. He looked down at the infant in my arms and raised an eyebrow in surprise. Wow, she really likes you. Usually, when I hand her to my buddies, she screams the house down. You've been holding her for 10 minutes and not a peep. It's like magic. Probably just muscle memory, I said quietly. I have a kid of my own. Oh, awesome. Do you mind holding her just a little longer? I need to go greet my college buddies over by the bar. I gave a single, curt nod. He trotted off, completely at ease. I sat alone, holding his child, staring at the massive banner draped across the back wall. Welcome to the world, Joy. With love from her proud parents, Elisa and Kieran. It felt like someone had injected crushed glass into my veins. My son never had a christening or a welcome party. When he was born, we were so consumed by the devastation of losing his twin sister that Elisa begged me not to throw a party. My parents had pushed back, saying our son deserved to be celebrated, but Elisa was adamant. She said she was too heartbroken over the daughter we lost to celebrate anything. And yet here she was, throwing a lavish, joy-filled banquet for her new daughter. I was the only one still mourning the ghost in the safe. My phone vibrated in my pocket. Mother-in-law. Without hesitating, I answered. Evan, did you not see my text? Her tone was as demanding and entitled as ever. No, I replied, my voice colder than dry ice. Are you at the grocery store? It sounds loud, she snapped. Read your messages. I can't hear you anyway. Just text me back. She hung up. I opened the text thread. 20 minutes ago, she had written, Evan, a distant cousin just had a baby. We need to send a gift. I don't have enough in my checking account right now, so wire me $2,000. It's family obligation. We can't look cheap. The blood rushed to my head, so fast I felt dizzy. My knuckles turned white against the phone. These people were not only playing me for a fool, they were actively trying to get me to fund the gift for my wife's bastard child. A dark, humorless laugh escaped my throat. I didn't reply. A minute later, another text popped up. Evan, hurry up. We can't embarrass the family. I left her on read. I would wait for her to walk through those double doors. A third text arrived. I always thought you were a respectable, generous man. I guess I was wrong. Never mind. If you won't do it, I'll figure it out myself. A sneer twisted my lips. I treat you like my own son. You're the best son-in-law in the world. We are so blessed to have you in the family. It had all been a punchline, and I was the joke. Kieran wandered back over, pressing his phone to his ear. I could hear Elisa's voice vividly through the receiver. Honey, Mom just surprised us with another piece of gold jewelry for the baby. She didn't have to do that. Kieran laughed softly. Joy has enough jewelry to open a store. Elisa's voice took on a serious, reverent tone. No, this one is different. It's a gold sparrow. Mom had it blessed at a cathedral years ago. It's highly protective, not just regular jewelry. My vision tunneled. The roaring in my ears returned. 2 days ago, my son had packed his bags for a summer camp, right before he got on the bus. My mother-in-law told him to take off his gold sparrow medallion so he wouldn't lose it in the lake. My son, trusting his grandmother, handed it over to her for safekeeping. She had stolen my son's protective charm, the very symbol of his survival, to gift to Elisa's illegitimate child. Kieran smiled warmly into the phone. Tell Mom thank you. That's incredibly thoughtful. I heard my mother-in-law's voice in the background, muffled but clear. Don't mention it. It's what a grandmother is supposed to do. We're pulling up now. Thanks for handling the crowd, sweetie. Kieran hung up and reached out to take the baby from me, but then another group of guests waved at him from the entrance. He got distracted and hurried over to them. I remained seated, the child resting heavily in my arms. She was so unnervingly quiet. I stared down at her soft features, a bitter, hollow smile touching my lips. I whispered to her, "Your welcome party is going to be something people talk about for the rest of their lives." Finally, a commotion at the front doors signaled the arrival. Through the parting crowd, I saw Elisa and her parents making their grand entrance. I stood up, holding the child, and began walking methodically toward the small stage at the front of the room. As I stepped onto the platform, I heard Elisa call out over the chatter, "Babe, where's our little girl?" I picked up the microphone from the podium. When I spoke, my voice was an arctic wind that froze the entire room instantly. "Hey, honey, your little bastard is right here in my arms."